Okay guys, in this video we're going to review the Bernay striped dishcloth, and this is the pattern that was passed out in our last lesson. It is a 5mm crochet hook that's required for this pattern, but just remember that if you have loose tension that you want to go down a size, like to a 4.5 or 4, and if you have tight tension you might even need to do 5.5 or 6. And so that will help you create the gauge of this being a 10" by 10" square. However, if you're not worried about your dishcloth being exactly 10 inches by 10 inches, then you could just stick with a number 5 and it would work out just fine. Okay, so for dishcloths it's best to have cotton because it withstands wash after wash easier. But today I don't have any cotton on hand, so I'm just going to use some scrap yarn I have in my stash. Obviously I'm not going to create a whole dishcloth out of this and use it, knowing that it wouldn't last, because I believe this is acrylic. I'm not too sure, I've lost the label, so it's been a while since I've had this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the instructions start off and say CH37, which means you want to chain 37. So we'll create our slip knot. So in order to do the slip knot, there's this method I'm going to show from class again, because it seems like a lot easier for some people to catch this one than do the 2-finger method, the crossover method. So you're going to put your yarn straight out with your tail pointing towards the left with the cutoff end. You're going to make a loop, put your finger on that crisscross, and then with your pincher fingers reach under, grab this piece of yarn and pull up. And as you do that, it creates the knot right there. So that knot, of course, is adjustable. So in order to adjust it, you would just pull the working yarn that's connected to the ball to tighten up the loop until it's just a bit snug. Not too snug, but a good size on your hook. Okay, so I'm not going to explain chaining. There is a lesson 1 review video to go over if you want to practice your chaining, but I'm going to go ahead and chain 37 and then we'll meet there to start working the first row. Okay, so I have a foundation chain of 37, and now I'm going to turn and work horizontally and create the first row. So it wants you to 1 single crochet into the second chain from hook. Now the RS in front of that just means the right side. So this is working from the right to the left is considered the right side of the work. And then when we flip our work like the page in a book, it will be working on the wrong side. So you'll just alternate. Okay, so for first single crochet, you do not put it in this first one or count this loop. You always put it in the second one. So let's go ahead and create a single crochet. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now it says chain 1 and miss the next chain. So miss just means you're going to skip. So this would be your next stitch here, and it just wants you to skip that. So it doesn't want you to create any stitch in that. And then the pattern says to do a single crochet in the next chain. So we'll go ahead and skip this one, go into the second chain, single crochet, and then chain 1. And it wants us to do this all the way to the end. So let's do a couple more and then we'll skip to the very end to go over row 2. Okay, so I have reached the last stitch of row 1, and it had us repeat all the way to the end until the very last stitch, and then you'll have 1 single crochet without a chain, 1 space there. Okay. So to create our second row, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to flip our work from the right to the left, and now it says for second row we're working on the wrong side. So it wants us to go ahead and create a single crochet into this first stitch, and then it says to chain 1 and 1 single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So here's a single crochet, so we're going to skip that, and we're going to insert our hook here in the chain 1 space and create a single crochet. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see this. Chain 1, not there, that's the stitch. We're going to go in this chain 1 space from the previous row, insert our hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. Okay, so let's do that a couple more times. Chain 1, here's the stitch. We're going to go here into the space and create a single crochet. So essentially what you've done for the first row is still kept a stitch count of 36 by doing those chain 1 spaces, and we're just alternating. So there'll be a single crochet into the chain stitch from the one before, and then on the third row you would have a chain stitch above the single crochet, and it will go like that row by row. So let's do a few more and reach the end, and it says to continue working row 2. So I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so I have reached the end of row 2, and it had us repeat all the way to the end, and then it says to add 1 single crochet in the very last stitch. Okay, and then the instructions say repeat the last row for 10 inches and then fasten off. So you would just go ahead and chain 1, flip your work from right to left, and then follow the instructions for row 2 again. So you would first single crochet in the first one, and you would chain 1 and go ahead and crochet a single crochet into the chain 1 space. And as you can see, it's creating a pattern where it's kind of zigzagging the chain spaces and the single crochet, so where that they're alternating. You can see it clearer in this stitch. So here we have a chain, or I'm sorry, here we have a single crochet, and here we have a chain space, and below it we'll have single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain. So it's a really pretty stitch. I really enjoyed making this one. So hope you guys enjoy. Just go ahead and work it for 10 inches. And if you don't have a ruler handy, or you're not worried about exactly meeting 10 inches, I always do, you know, as many rows as I think. And then a way to make sure that it's going to actually be a square is I'll just take the bottom of the swatch or project and just turn it to create a triangle. And as long as my triangle ends meet, then I know that I've created a square, versus like if, you know, it didn't, you know, quite reach, or I would know I need to do a couple more rows. So anyways, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I will be checking my email all through spring break. Thank you.